What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are having an awesome day. I know I am. I just got off work about an hour or so ago, and now I am here to film a review video for you guys. So today we're reviewing the 2022 Ford Mustang Mach 1. Huge thank you to Matt Newman over at Koons Sterling Ford for allowing me to do this review for you guys today. If you guys are interested in this particular Mach 1 or any Ford product, I'll be sure to have Matt's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. Sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, it does. So I did move the Mach 1 from over there where you guys saw me take that first clip to over here in the shade because it is very hot in the sunlight, and it's honestly pretty hot over here in the shade as well. I'm sweating, so it is pretty humid, and there's also a duck or something back there making a bunch of weird noises. So if I do get attacked, just know it was filming this video for you guys. But first, let's talk about the exterior and performance. So like I said, this is a 2022 Ford Mustang Mach 1, and this particular one is painted in fighter jet gray. If you guys do like the fighter jet gray, that is a part of the $1,250 Mach 1 appearance package. And like I said, with the Mach 1 appearance package, you do get that fighter jet gray. You also do get orange brake calipers, as well as a black and orange hood stripe and black and orange side stripes on both sides of the Mach 1. But let me bring you guys over here and let's talk about this hood stripe here real quick, because at the front of your hood stripe you will see that it does say Mach 1 written out. I think it's pretty cool, especially in that Mach 1 font. On the top of the grille you also do get two hood vents, one on the passenger side, one on the driver's side. But let's start over here at our headlamps and we'll work our way down the vehicle from front to back. So like I said, let's start at the headlamps because we do have LED headlights. We also do have LED daytime running lights. That's what those three like hash marks are. Those are the LED daytime running lights. And just below our headlamps we will find our halogen turn signals, and these turn signals are kind of funny because they do hold on longer than a regular turn signal would, and that's because we do have LED sequential taillights, which I'll show you guys when we get to the back of the Mach 1. But let's talk about this grille here real quick, because we do have a black honeycomb grille right here at the center with a Mustang in the center of our grille. We also do not have fog lights, and as you guys can see, where the fog lights should be, there's just like this piece of plastic, which in my opinion I wish they would have like drilled that out or left that you know, open. So I think that would have looked a little bit more aggressive, kind of like the Hellcats have that one halo light where it lets air directly into the intake. You know, I know this isn't supercharged, but it would have been cool just to see that hollowed out. Just my personal opinion. There's also this shark fin painted piece around our center grille, but you also do have honeycomb outer grills as well, and then you also do have this lower grille right here, and it's also that honeycomb style grille as well. Moving to the bottom of the Mach 1's front end, you guys can see you do have a pretty aggressive front splitter. But what's nice about the front splitter is that you do have a good amount of clearance. So if you guys are worried about scraping the bottom or scraping your front splitter, I really don't think that you have to worry about that. But continuing on down the side of the Mach 1, let's talk about these wheels here for a second. These are 19-inch gunmetal wheels. We're wrapped around in a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tire, and that is a 305/30 section on a 19-inch wheel, and they are pretty beefy tires. As you guys can see, these tires aren't really meant for the rain. These things are meant for attacking a track or attacking the back roads. And like I said, this does have the Mach 1 appearance package. So there are your orange brake calipers. This is a 6-piston front brake, and these things will stop on a dime. I'm also a huge fan of the design on these wheels. I think they look really sweet, and they're different from a lot of the other wheels on the market. They just got like all those different Y spokes, and then they got the different Y spokes in the center of these Y spokes, as you guys can see what I'm talking about, if that makes any sense. Just know that these wheels look very, very good in person. Moving on down, let's take a look at our front fender. As you guys can see, it says Mach 1 again in that Mach 1 font. Looks very good, and it goes along with the theme of the Mach 1. Just to the right of the Mach 1 badge, you will find your black mirror caps, and it is kind of like a metallic-y but also flat black mirror caps. It's kind of interesting. I don't know really how to describe it. You just have to see it in person to know what I'm talking about. And you also do have an integrated LED turn signal in your side view mirrors, and you also do have blind spot monitoring at the upper left hand corner of the side view mirror on your driver's side and the upper right hand corner of the side view mirror on your passenger side. Again, along with that Mach 1 appearance package, there are your Mach 1 appearance package side stripes, and you also do have a pretty aggressive side skirt right there as well. And that side skirt is made out of like a black plastic type material. You guys can see just how thick those rear hips are. It looks super good, and that's coming from somebody who owns a Camaro. So this thing looks very sleek, looks very sporty, and I'm just a huge fan of the way that this thing looks. But my glasses are sliding down my face because it's so hot and it's so humid. Let's move up to the top of the Mach 1. You have a shark fin type antenna at the center of the roof. You also do have your third brake light right here in black. And as you guys can see, it is a fastback Mustang. If you guys know anything about the 2015 plus Mustangs, you guys know that they are that fastback style in the rear, and it just looks super sleek, especially because this is a Mach 1 and it's got that big ducktail spoiler in the back. But here are, again, your 19-inch gunmetal wheels, but instead of being a 305 30 section like that you find in the front, these are also Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, but they are 315 30 section on a 19-inch wheel. And that is, again, your orange brake caliper. Brakes in the rear are not as beefy as the brakes in the front, but you know, most of your stopping power comes from the front brakes anyway. So let's take a look at this rear spoiler, because this rear spoiler does come with the $4,500 Mach 1 handling package. The Mach 1 handling package also includes revised chassis tuning, those 19-inch gunmetal wheels. You also get adjustable strut top mounts and that performance spoiler like I just mentioned. This performance spoiler looks absolutely sweet. Like I said, especially with that fastback roof, it just looks absolutely menacing, especially here in person. I'm a huge fan of the way that spoiler looks. So you guys should absolutely get the $4,500 Mach 1 handling package if you guys are getting a Mach 1. Just my personal opinion, because you're already spending more than a regular Mustang GT, so you might as well get the Mac Daddy Mach 1. But if I was in the position to buy one of these, I would absolutely get that Mach 1 handling package. But while we're back here, the last thing that I didn't mention yet, but I'm going to mention right now, that comes with the $4,500 Mach 1 handling package, is that you do get a 373 Torsion rear axle. And I'm a big fan of the 373s. In my personal 2010 Camaro SS stock, it came with 341s, and I blew the rear differential in my Camaro and I put 373s. Then I blew the rear differential again, and I like the 373s so much that I put 373s back on it, and it just really wakes up my 2010 Camaro. But it feels absolutely fantastic when mated to this 470 horsepower V8. But before we move into performance, I know I just spoiled the performance numbers a little bit, but I wanted to let you guys know, what those 373s are connected to. But let's talk about this rear deck lid here real quick, because it is in black and it does say Mach 1 at the center of it. You also do have your rear view camera just above your Mach 1 letters right here. You'll find it at the center of your trunk. But like I mentioned when we were at the front, I talked about the tail lights just a little bit. You do get LED sequential turn signals. So if I turn the key on, I'm not quite sure if I hit it, if it will, do the sequential thing. No, it doesn't, but these tail lights, just to let you know, are LED. A couple more things before we move into performance is take a look at that rear valence. Absolutely menacing, super aggressive. There is your reverse light at the center of your rear valence, and you do have a quad tip exhaust. I can almost fit my fist in this exhaust. Let's take a look. Pretty dang close to fitting my fist in there. And with this exhaust, I'll talk about this a little bit more when we move into the interior, but you do have different modes for your exhaust. You have a quiet mode. You also do get, a sport mode. You get a Sport Plus, so it gets a little bit louder depending on what mode you are in. But yeah, just take a look at those quad tip exhausts. Take a look at the rear 3/4 angle of the Mach 1. It looks absolutely fantastic. But we've talked a lot about the exterior. Now let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 5-liter V8 that makes 470 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately for 2022, Ford had to drop the horsepower and torque output numbers by 10 horsepower and 10 pound-feet of torque due to stricter emissions regulations for 2022. You can blame the EPA for that, but you can mate the 5-liter V8 to a 6-speed manual or an optional 10-speed automatic transmission for $1,595. But if you guys were wondering about 0 to 60 times, you can get a 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds if you guys are good at driving manual, or you can get 4.2 seconds easily if you guys do option that 10-speed automatic transmission. But when you option the Mach 1 with that 6-speed Tremec manual transmission, you can see 14 miles per gallon in the city, 22 miles per gallon on the highway, and 17 miles per gallon combined. But if you guys are enjoying the video so far today, please give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm really gunning for 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2022, and I cannot do that without your guys' help. Also, I'm doing an LS swap on my 1987 Ford F-150. So if you guys want to see that, hit that subscribe button. And like I said, please give this video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what your favorite part of the Mach 1 has been so far. Those likes, those comments, and those subscriptions really help the channel out and help me achieve my dream. So like I said, if you guys would, please hit that subscribe button. Please give this video a big thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section down below. But we've talked a lot about the exterior. Now we've talked about the performance. Now let's move into the interior. All right, guys, moving into the interior of the Mach 1. It is 2022 after all. So you do have keyless access. So all you got to do is have your key fob somewhere on you, in your hand, in your pocket, something like that. Walk up to the vehicle, place your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle unlocks. You can also lock the vehicle by running your fingers across these 3 lines. Vehicle will lock, as you guys can hear, but put your hand behind here, vehicle unlocks. And let's talk about the interior. The interior, nothing too special. I mean, it is a Mustang after all, so you can't expect it to have, you know, an interior of like a Bentley or something like that. However, the interior is still pretty nice in my opinion. But let's talk about the door panel here real quick. The only bits of leather that you get are about right in the center of the door panel, and I would say the most fancy part of the door panel are these 2 stitching lines right here. It's kind of like an L, as you guys can see. You got one up top, one on the bottom, and in the center you have a perforated leather type material. Aluminum door handle right here, unlock and lock buttons right next to your door handle. You also do have a speaker right there, a speaker down there, and that's a part of your 12 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. You got some aluminum trim right here that you can grab onto and close the door with, and not much storage space at the bottom of the door panel. You may be able to fit an easy pass in there. But moving into the interior, you do have a Mach 1 door sill on your driver's side, as well as a Mach 1 door sill on your passenger side. As you guys can see, this particular Mach 1 does come optioned with the $1,650 Recaro seats. And like I said, if you're getting a Mach 1, you're already getting a pretty performance-oriented Mustang. And after all, take a look at those 305 section front tires. If you guys want to stay planted nicely in your seat, you're going to want to get the Recaros. But moving into the interior, taking a look down here, you guys will find your aluminum pedals, and that does come with these $1,550 Mach 1 Elite package. And a couple things that you also do get with the Mach 1 Elite package include that 12 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. You do have a single CD right here that you can put, only one, and you also do get HD radio. So if you guys do want a nicer sound system, you're gonna want to get the Mach 1 Elite pack. But another thing that I wanted to mention with this particular Mach 1 is that this does have the 700A equipment group, and with that you get climate controlled front seat, which are heated and cooled. However, when I fired this thing up, I haven't found the heated and cooled settings for these seats. I don't know if maybe you lose those heated and cooled front seats when you get the Recaros, but I would assume yes. But it does have a heated steering wheel, so I think that's kind of interesting. Another thing that you do get with the 700A package, which is, by the way, a $2,095 option, you get Premier trim with clear accent grips, which I'm not 100% sure what that is, and then you also get premium floor mats with accent colored stitching, and I'll show you guys that on my phone right here. equipment group 700A. I will also post the equipment group 700A here on screen along with the window sticker. And while we do have the window sticker up on screen, you guys can take a look at all the different options, but I wanted to talk about the MSRP of this particular vehicle, and the MSRP of this particular vehicle is $69,035. But another like option that you get, but you know, it's not really an option, but you can kind of consider it an option because it's in the options section of the window sticker, is if you take a look all the way pretty much down on the left hand side of your window sticker, you will find that you do have a $1,000 gas guzzler tax that is included with the MSRP of this vehicle. But let's fire her up. So all you got to do is have your foot on the clutch. You have to have your key fob somewhere in the interior. As you guys can see, you got a green light on the engine stop start. Let's fire her up. Sounds absolutely phenomenal. But let's close this door because there are a lot of bugs out there. A couple things that I wanted to talk about here on the interior include, you do have a 12-inch digital gauge cluster right here. Right now we are in Sport Plus mode, so you get that like hockey stick style RPM gauge. Lets us know we are in neutral. So like I said, this is a Tremec 6-speed manual transmission. Over here on the right, you will find you have an analog speedometer with a digital speedometer readout. At the center of that analog speedometer, just below your analog and digital speedometer, you will find your fuel gauge. This is your fuel range, 52 miles until empty. That is our odometer, so this vehicle only has 11 miles on it. Here is your coolant temperature. That lets us know we are in Sport Plus mode. This also lets us know we are in Sport Plus mode. So we have sport steering, normal exhaust, launch control is off, and we also do have sport suspension. But let's go back through. I'll click this and we'll go into normal mode because, and I missed it, normal mode. Let's go into normal mode. And as you guys can see, the RPM gauge switched to an analog style RPM gauge. Let's go over here, go back into track mode, and it'll change again. You guys can see it goes all the way across the top and makes it even easier to read in track mode than it even is in Sport Plus mode. So you guys can see exactly where you should shift and turns traction control off, blah, blah, blah. But I like to leave it in Sport Plus mode, you know, for driving on the street. Moving over to here, you do have an 8-inch Sync 3 system with wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. If you guys do want the built-in navigation, that is a $595 option. But yeah, oil pressure, PSI, VAC in HG. So you got those two gauges right there. Up top here, Bang & Olufsen sound system. You do have a subwoofer in the trunk with that Bang & Olufsen sound system. But yeah, it's just like a regular Mustang interior in here. But it actually is still very, very nice. It's basically the same interior, you know, you'd find in like a GT500, for example. However, the GT500 has a few more options like carbon fiber interior, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. You do have a frameless auto dimming rear view mirror right here. Here are your two lights that let you know your passenger airbag is off. Universal garage door opener up top here. If you pop open this, you do have your vanity mirror with two lights, as well as same thing on this side, vanity mirror with two lights. Closing those, you do have your Mach 1 badge right here. It lets us know that this is number 1960, chassis number 1960. And there is the interior. We can pop open the glove box, but nothing special in there, just a regular glove box. But yeah, Recaro seats are very nice. Back seats are pretty much unusable if you're above, you know, like 5'7", maybe even less than that, due to that fastback roof style. However, if you're buying one of these cars, I really don't think you're going to be using it as a daily driver. I mean, you might, and you definitely could, if most of the time you're only with you and another passenger. You know, you can make it work fitting, you know, bigger adults back in there, but they're not going to be comfortable for more than like a 20 to 30 minute ride, maybe an hour at most. But yeah, you know, let's talk about a few more things before we get this thing out onto the road. USB-A port right here. You got a 12-volt power outlet right there. Engine stop-start button. You got your hazards, traction control off button. This can mess with your steering depending on what steering feel that you want, and here are your different drive modes. Climate control stuff right here. It's all boring. Volume knob, tuning knob. You can also tune right here. You can turn this screen off. If you guys want sound settings, you can push that button right there. This button will eject any CDs that you have in there. You got two cup holders right here. You do have a manual emergency brake, which I personally really like, and it's very easy to use. You don't really have to use that much effort when, you know, disengaging the e-brake, so that's very, very nice. Shifter feel is super notchy. I love it. It feels absolutely fantastic. You also do have auto rev matching, and I'm not sure if you can turn the auto rev matching off. You know, I like to rev match myself, but you know, I also do like the auto rev match in the Mach 1. But one more thing, let's pop open this little glove box or whatever it is right here. Center console, 12-volt power outlet, and another USB-A port right there. But you know, we've talked a lot about the exterior, we've talked about their performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. Now I want to see what this thing's like to drive, and I'm sure you guys do too. So without further ado, let's get that POV hat on. Okay, so unfortunately I did not bring my POV hat. However, I don't think you guys really want to hear me talk anyway on this drive, so it's just going to be a total POV drive of the Mustang. I'm not going to say anything. All I'm going to say is that this thing's super, super easy to drive. Clutch feel is amazing. Super easy to engage, disengage the clutch. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. It's like the perfect weight. Another thing I wanted to say before we get off onto this POV part of the review is I already drove this Mustang around quite a bit, not quite a bit, but a good amount, and shifter feels absolutely amazing. I mean, that's kind of what you would expect out of a Tremec 6-speed. So, you know, shifter feel is amazing. Throttle is amazing. It's super, super quick. It's got like the right, perfect, I would say, amount of power. 470 horsepower, so you can really rip up a back road in one of these without really having to worry about going to jail all that much. So you can really get into the throttle, you know, floor it, you can let off, you can go 3/4 throttle, whereas in a GT500 you can't really do that because it has so much power. So that's kind of why it's kind of nice to have a car that has around, you know, 470 to 500 horsepower, and it's, you know, amazing chassis tuning, fantastic brakes, fantastic suspension. So this thing just drives very, very nice. But I think that's enough of me talking. Let's get on to that POV drive. One thing I do want to say while we are at this stoplight is that this thing actually gets a surprising amount of looks. When I was driving it over from the dealership to the spot where I'm filming, I probably had like 10 different people look, and that's not an exaggeration. Literally 10 different people that I caught looking at this Mustang Mach 1. So, you know, it gets a good amount of attention. So if you guys are into that and you don't want to spend the money like you would get a Lamborghini or something like that, not a bad car to get some attention in. Just something that I thought I would point out, just because that's something that I noticed. One thing that I also did want to mention on deceleration when you are using the auto rev match is that you do get a subtle little pop. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but as soon as you let the clutch out, it'll go pop, and then the RPMs will go down. But it does have a subtle little pop, and if you put headers or something on this thing would sound vicious. So yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if the camera caught it, but that guy, you know, really broke his neck to take a look at the Mach 1. Alright guys, I do want to add a little interjection into the video as I'm driving. I know I said I wouldn't, but I am going to. Like I said earlier before we left off for the POV drive, shifter feel is absolutely amazing. Big fan of the way that the shifter shifts. It's notchy, but it's not too notchy. It's like the perfect amount. Rev matching, you know, if you guys are bad at rev matching, the car will do it for you, and it will do it very, very well. Another thing that's cool is every time it shifts or switches songs, it'll let you know right up top there. You know, vision out of this, yeah, your blind spot is not the greatest right there, but you know, vision out the front is fantastic. Steering feel is great. The way that it drives, the way that the chassis feels, the way that the, you know, it rides super, super well. You know, it's not too firm, but it's not too loose. It's just incredible. Clutch feels awesome. Sorry, I'm driving with one hand here, shifting and steering and stuff like that, but just know that this thing is awesome. See, I didn't rev that up and it did it itself. Here's a view out the side. You guys can see that nice spoiler just barely in that side view mirror. You guys can see the wide hips of the Mach 1. And you know, usually with like thick tires like these, you will tramline with the road. However, I haven't noticed that quite yet. I'm sure on roads where the divots are pretty bad, you guys will be tramlining like crazy. However, you know, it's not too bad because these roads are pretty good where I'm at least, you know, here in the summertime in these roads. But, you know, low-end torque is actually very, very good. I know Coyotes are usually, you know, more high-end horsepower rather than low-end torque like it would be in like a LS or LT-based motor. But torque is very, very good. Switching lanes here. And I'll be quiet again. guys, well that's gonna conclude today's video. My jaw is starting to hurt from holding the camera in my mouth. I forgot my POV hat, like I said, which honestly kind of worked out because you guys didn't hear me blabbering on about how this thing drove, and the car just kind of spoke for itself. But if you guys did enjoy today's video, please give this video a big thumbs up. Like I said, please hit that subscribe button. I'm really gunning for 50,000 subscribers, and I really do think that we can get that done by the end of 2022 if I really start pumping out videos. If you guys start subscribing, if you guys start hitting that like button, I would really greatly, honestly appreciate that. You know, this is my dream, and this is some job that I would love to do, you know, and I can see myself doing for the next 5, 10, 15 years, however long the YouTube platform stays, you know, relevant. So if you guys would please help me make my dream come true by hitting that subscribe button, that really helps. But also, you know, watching the videos, sharing the videos, giving these videos big thumbs up, and leaving comments in the comment section down below really help me and my channel with the YouTube algorithm. So like I said, one more thing is that, and maybe that should be, you know, one more thing should be on a shirt because I seem to say it a lot, but I am doing an LS swapped 1987 Ford F-150. I know some of you guys would be like, yeah, rock on, hell yeah. And other you guys are gonna be like, that's blasphemy, why don't you just put a 460 in it? And honestly, it's because, you know, I want to. And we're gonna make some good power out of that 5.3 liter. Initially, it'll be stock, but as the build progresses, it'll be, you know, cammed, it'll be heads, and then, you know, it might have turbos on it, it might have a turbo on it, it might be supercharged. You know, I'm not quite sure exactly what it's gonna be yet, but if you guys wanna follow along for that build, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and watch out for new 703 speed videos. More videos to come here in the near future, but like I said, that's the end of today's video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Seem like every captain gotta maintain the cap. You can make change, don't change for that. Tell the whole truth, get paid for that. Bet you never fall off, you was made for that. You gotta be